Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is June 5th, 2023, and lots of exciting news today. Well, maybe not exciting, but more interesting than exciting. There is one exciting news, which is about Leo Messi. But the main source today is that it looks like Real Madrid's president, Florentino Perez, was meeting with all of us in charge of the espionage of Barcelona, which I did mention in a previous video. And I will give you all the details in today's live stream. Also, Joan Laporta met with Jorge Messi today, which is a great sign in that hopes to sign Leo Messi and for him to come back to Barcelona. And finally, it seems that the signing of Vitor Roque could be in danger. We have a lot of news to discuss. So let's begin. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the live stream, which is on every Monday and Wednesday, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to you guys who are already waiting and already see the comment section going. Again, as always, we'll do a section of news followed by the comments and get the discussion going. But let's start with, I mentioned in yesterday's video that Barcelona were on their way to Japan in order to play that friendly match against Vissel Kobe. And it looks like the team landed in Tokyo today, and the friendly match is scheduled for tomorrow, Tuesday, June the 6th. I personally thought that this was a little bit rushed. The team just played a match on Sunday, and I think to have them fly halfway around the world in order to play a friendly match, I think it's too much. It's already, you already need enough days to recover from a match. And then on top of that, they have to travel such a long distance. They have to adjust to the time difference and then expect them to play a friendly match. I don't think this was really well planned by the club, but nonetheless, it's very much needed because it's estimated that this friendly match will bring the club around 7 or 8 million euros in net profits. So that, of course, is going to go a long way for the club as far as the feasibility plan and as far as trying to sign players this summer. Now, Barcelona did announce the lineup for the team that have traveled to Japan. Of course, Pedri, Ronald Araujo, and Alejandro Balde have not traveled with the team because they're all injured. And then there's, of course, Busquets and Jordi Alba. As I mentioned in a previous video, they were scheduled not to play the final match of the season against Celta Vigo, and they've also not traveled against Japan. They don't want to risk, even though they still have contracts until June 30th, they're in the process of signing with new teams. So, of course, Barcelona helping them out, making sure that they don't get injured or something bad happens that could affect their future offers or future contracts. So, as a result, they haven't traveled with the team either. Now, Julian Araujo has been given the number 2 jersey for this trip. So, we're going to have to see. Most likely, he will be starting in the right back position. This will be his first official test, whether he can handle being a starter fullback for Barcelona. Julian Araujo was signed in a winter transfer market, but Barcelona were unable to register him on time. So as a result, he's only been training with Barca Athletic, but he hasn't played any competitive matches. So this will be his first shot to show Xavi whether he has what it takes to play in the right back position, because as I reported previously, Barcelona are considering using Julian Araujo as the starting fullback next season, but of course, only if he proves himself during the preseason. And Xavi needs to see whether the Mexican fullback can handle competitive matches. Now, one little sad thing about tomorrow, which I thought it was a little bit, I don't know, I didn't really like what happened, but to tell you what it is, Andres Iniesta and Barcelona both requested from Vissel Kobe if Andres Iniesta can perhaps play a few minutes in the Barcelona jersey. I think it would have been something cool, but it looks like the Japanese club have said no to that request, which I don't know why. I think that would have been even better for the spectacle, as far as generating money, generating more viewerships, more people in the stadium. They said no to that, which is a shame. I would have loved to see Andres Iniesta, even if it's for 5 minutes in a Barcelona jersey once again, and even if it's in a friendly match. But nonetheless, the Japanese club have said no to that request. So unfortunately, we're not going to see Andres Iniesta play in a Barcelona jersey tomorrow, but we will see him play for his current club, Vissel Kobe, which is expected that most likely will be his final match, because Andres Iniesta will not be playing with the Japanese club anymore. We still don't know where he's going, so we're going to have to wait and see. Maybe Saudi Arabia, they seem to be wanting to sign everyone and their mothers. So that's all I have about tomorrow's friendly match. I don't know if I'll be able to watch it. I know it's at an odd hour. I also have work tomorrow, but if I do, I'll make like a brief review of it in tomorrow's video. But anyways, let's head to the chat section, because after that we got a really crazy story about Florentino Perez even being more involved than we initially thought in the whole Enrique Cereda case and the whole espionage case of Barcelona and its former president, Sandro Rosé. All right, let's see. Hooper says, Mo, any news on Barca's interest on Fabricio Diaz? No news on that front. Fabricio Diaz, Barcelona want to sign him. They had an agreement in place with the player and his entourage. But unfortunately, his current club, Liverpool de Montevideo, decided that they wanted more money. So that kind of put the brakes on the operation. Also, he was involved. He is in the World Cup. I don't know if the World Cup is over yet. The under-20 World Cup where Fabricio Diaz is representing Uruguay. So that also put things on hold, because obviously he was focused on that competition. So no news on Fabricio Diaz yet, but we'll have to wait and see. Chuchu's in the chat. What's up, Chuchu? Let's see. Adama says hi. What's up, Adama? El says, why is Barca so trash in transfer market? They're not. If you think so, I don't know. Maybe pick a new team. Let's see. Chris says, what do you mean Barca? Oh, so Chris is talking. Barca says, Mo, pray for Ansu to stay. I'm very split on Ansu. Of course, I would love to see him stay. You know, he's someone who came up through the academy. He wears a number 10. You know, he's someone who has like raw talent that does not come that around that often. But unfortunately, this season has just been so disappointing. You know, he's been mostly like when he's on the field, I don't even remember he's on the field until one of the commentators mentions his name. I know he scored 2 goals against, Mallorca, and 1 goal against Celta Vigo, but that doesn't mean he's back, because in those matches, yes, he scored those goals, but he was mostly missing on the field too. So I don't know. If the club was in a good financial situation, I would say, yes, keep him, give him another season. But given the club's need to sell players ASAP in order to sign new ones, I think I would rather offload Ansu Fati and make space for someone else rather than continue, waiting on him. And that's unfortunately the economic situation of the club. But let's talk real quick about the next story, because it's a big one. I told you about last video about the whole Enrique Cereda case and the former police chief in Spain. If you don't remember, his name is Jose Manuel Villarejo. He was an undercover investigator that the Spanish government hired so he can spy on organizations that are tied to the Catalan independence movement. And he was also hired by the Spanish government to spy on FC Barcelona and to spy on the former Barcelona president, Sandro Rosé, out of suspicion that they somehow had ties to the Catalan independence movement. Now, this whole espionage thing was also meant for to try to falsify evidence or try to bring up false evidence to try to like a smear campaign against the entire independence movement in Catalonia. And during this investigation, while Villarejo was, or not investigation, it was literally espionage, while Villarejo was spying on Barcelona at the behest of the Spanish government, he came across the Enrique Cereda files, and he reported that to the Spanish government. He made a report, turned it in, not just the Spanish government, different entities, different governmental entities saying, hey, something going on here with the Enrique Cereda case. Barcelona are paying this former referee, who's also the vice president of the committee of referees. It looks like the Spanish government buried that report because Real Madrid was involved. Now, that's all we knew 2 days ago when I reported about this. I think it was Sunday that I made a video about it, or Friday. And that's all we knew, because that whole news came from a testimony of Villarejo. Villarejo gave a testimony in court. He's actually currently in jail. Apparently, he was very corrupt too. He was doing a lot of dirty work for the Spanish government. He was also doing dirty work for the elites in Spain. It's a whole mess. It's something out of a movie. I mean, the corruption in Spain is just mind-blowing. But he's currently in jail. He's been accused of espionage and all kinds of other crimes. He was kind of a fixer for the Spanish government, but he was also a fixer for the Spanish elite. And anyways, in one of his testimonies, that's when he explained this whole thing. That's when he admits that he was hired by the Spanish government to spy on Barcelona, to spy on Sandro Rosé. And that's when he also admits during his testimony that he came across the Negrita files. He reported it, but it was buried. And the media outlet Crónica Libre, which is in Spain, they're the ones who were able to get a hold of this testimony, of this video, and they launched that article pretty much bringing that to light. And of course, just as expected, not a single peep from any of the mainstream media, not in Spain, not around the world. No one's reporting about this. It's like the story never even happened. And well, today, Crónica Libre launched another bombshell article, and it seems that they got a hold of copies of the diaries of Jose Manuel Villarejo and like kind of his book where he would keep, where he would write all his notes about his work as a police officer or as an investigator. And in his notes, he reports that he was hired by the Attorney General of Spain to spy on Barcelona. And that while this whole espionage thing was happening, Florentino Perez, Real Madrid's president, was meeting on a regular basis with the Attorney General who had hired Villarejo to spy on Barcelona. Now, this is, of course, crazy because we knew that the Spanish government had buried the report that Real Madrid were involved with the Negreira case, but we didn't know why or how. And this is obviously how and why. It looks like Florentino Perez was meeting with the Attorney General, and most likely he's the one who said, hey, I don't want my name in this. Let's bury this. And God knows what else. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was also Florentino Perez who pushed or helped motivate the Attorney General to spy on Barcelona, because Football Club Barcelona as an entity had nothing to do with the Catalan independence movement, but yet they were still being spied on by the Spanish government. And Sandro Rosell, the former president, he had nothing to do with the independence movement either, but he too was spied on. He actually ended up going to jail for 640 days for something that he did not commit. He had, again, nothing to do with the Spanish, with the Catalan independence movement, but he went to jail for it. And then eventually he was released because the courts determined that he had nothing to do with it, that he was innocent. So who knows? I don't know if we're ever going to know, because again, till this day, not a single peep from the media outlets, not a single peep from any investigative organizations in Spain. Nobody cares that Real Madrid have been involved with the Negreira case this whole time. Florentino Perez was meeting with the guy who hired the undercover cop to spy on Barcelona and Sandro Rosell, which is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely mind-blowing. We've always known that there's a ton of corruption in La Liga, with Bartomeu being the president. But this goes beyond La Liga. This goes beyond the Spanish Football Federation. We're talking about all the way to the highest positions of government, of the Spanish government. That's how much corruption there is in Spain. It goes all the way to the top, and Real Madrid is at the heart of it. And so is Javier Tebas and the president of La Liga, which is an absolute shame. But anyways, let's head back to the comment section, and then we'll talk about Messi in that meeting that his father had with Laporta. But let's see what you guys are saying. Chuchu says Nico Gonzalez has done better than Abde. Yeah, Nico Gonzalez is not good. Stop it, Chuchu. I told you already. Stop with the nonsense. Tejas says, any news on us trying to sign Gabriel Vega? His agent Pinisabi, his agent Jorge Mendes, is it? It's Pinisabi. It's Pinisabi. It's either Pinisabi or Jorge Mendes. They offered him to Barcelona. We don't know that Barcelona are going to try to go after him. Again, Barcelona are still trying to figure out who they're going to be able to sign, because once the feasibility plan is approved, Barcelona still need to offload players in order to sign new ones. So even if the feasibility plan is approved, Barcelona still not going to be able to sign anyone until they offload players. So Barcelona is still not sure who they're going to be able to sign or not. They're still figuring that out. We don't know exactly who they're going to go after as far as the pivot position. With Kimmich staying in Bayern, with Subimendi wanting to stay at Real Sociedad. We still don't know. Okay, Zizou says, I don't understand the issue with Nico holding the 5 till Pau Prem gets older. Under Koeman, Nico looked like the second coming of Busquets. Yeah, there's been over a dozen players that looked like they were the second coming of Busquets and simply did not work out. And Nico's one of them. He did not really make it in Barcelona. He didn't make it in Valencia. He's not really Barca material. Ross says we should get the CM Vega kid. Also, we need a proper beast of a right back. I'm sure Xavi and the fact that the two big clubs don't want Cancelo, he would be a good boy at Barca. Thoughts? So the right back position, the problem is, again, the club's economy. We're only going to be able to sign a few players. So Barcelona have to prioritize who can they sign. And this was any other season. Yeah, sure, we could sign, midfield, attack, defense. We can reinforce all the positions, but unfortunately we can't. So we have to prioritize. And the priority right now is the pivot position. We have to get someone there because there's nobody to even fill that position. So we need someone there. That's a priority. And of course, there's the attack. We need to prioritize the attack too. We've seen we really lack in the attack. Ferran, Ansu, they're pretty much non-existent on the team. Rafinha, he has 1 out of 10 good matches. And Dembele, Dembele gets injured. And then who do you have left? It's just Lewandowski. So we need more attackers. So that's obviously priority over the right back position and the pivot. But I think Cancelo, he's a great player. But again, there's a lot of talks about him being toxic in the locker room. So that's my only fear. I don't want someone to come and just completely ruin the dynamics of the locker room, because Xavi has done a wonderful job in building a really close-knit team. We see it on the field. We see it off the field. All these players, get along really well. There's a lot of chemistry between them. And the last thing I want is for someone to come and just completely ruin that. Okay, one more comment, and then we'll talk about Messi, because that's a big news of today. Let's see. Teja says, any exit plans for Eric Garcia? No exit plans for Garcia. Xavi counts on him. So he'll be staying. And Zizo says, I don't understand the issue. Oh, wait, I already read that comment. Okay, Anthony says, we need a clear CDM, honestly. Yes, we do. So that's the number one priority. Obviously, the number one priority is to register the contracts of, Gavi, Araujo, Balde, Marcos Alonso, and Sergio Roberto, renew Dembele. And then once that's the number one priority, once all those are accomplished and we can talk about signings, the number one priority signing will be to get a CDM. Okay, let's talk about Messi, because today the man of the day was Tony Juan Martí, a reporter in Spain who, by pure luck and pure coincidence, happened to come across Jorge Messi on the street. He decided to follow him. And where did he end up? He ended up at Joan Laporta's house, where Jorge Messi met with the Barcelona president. We don't know exactly what they met about, but it's rumored that the reason for the meeting was Joan Laporta telling Jorge Messi, hey, please wait for us. We are going to bring you an offer. Just give us a few more days until La Liga give us the official green light and until everything is in place to make that offer for the Argentinian superstar. Now, as I mentioned many times before, by now, Messi, his wife, his kids want to come back to Barcelona. His dad, Jorge Messi, wants him to go to Al Hilal, where they've offered him 600 million euros per season, which is an insane amount of money. I don't even know how they're ever going to get that money back. Like, I can't see making a profit after spending that much money per season. But anyways, it's not my money, not my business. And Jorge Messi has accepted a pre-agreement with Al Hilal, but it does have an expiration date. It's rumored that it's 15 days from the acceptance day. There's also an offer on the table from Inter Miami. And the only offer that's missing on the table is Barcelona's. But again, it's not because Barca don't want to. It's because their hands are currently tied until they get the official green light from La Liga. Then they'll be able to make an offer. So it's thought that Joan Laporta met with Jorge Messi to ask him to please wait, that the offer is coming. Now, Jorge Messi was, after he left the Joan Laporta's house and the word got out that he was there, a lot of reporters ambushed him on the streets, asking him questions. And he said that Messi would love to come back to Barcelona. So confirming what I've been saying for several days now, that Messi wants to come back to the club. And then he added that he too would like to see his son back in Barcelona. That's, of course, huge because, we all know that he would prefer Messi to go to Saudi. But if he's saying that he would like to see Messi in Barcelona too, I think that's a good sign, because we've known for quite some time that there's been a big split in the Messi camp, with Messi wanting to go to Barcelona, Jorge Messi wanting him to go to Saudi. So now with Jorge Messi, getting a little bit more accepting of his son coming back to Barcelona, I think that's huge, because we all know how much Messi listens to his father. And then finally, Jorge Messi was asked whether there is a chance of Leo Messi coming back to Barcelona. And he said that, yes, there is. That right there is also huge because, again, we've all known that Barcelona want Messi. Messi wants to come back to Barcelona, but we didn't know when it's going to be possible. And if Jorge Messi is saying that there is a chance or there is a way that this can happen, then that's, of course, huge, because that makes things a lot more positive. Now, Barcelona are communicating a lot of optimism after this meeting between Laporta and Jorge Messi. but they've also asking for, for people to calm down, not to hype things up too much, because still at the initial stages, Barcelona still need to get the official green light from La Liga. So let's not just assume because this meeting happened that Messi's 100% sure coming. A lot of things can happen, but the club are feeling optimistic after this meeting. Now, the bad thing is, again, that once a feasibility plan is approved, Barcelona will have to offload players immediately in order to make any signings, including the offer from Messi. So Barcelona are going to make an offer for Messi this week. That means that they need to start offloading players this week. So Barcelona are going to have a lot of hard work to do, especially with Ferran, Ansu, and Kessie, who Barcelona want to offload, but all three are refusing because they want to stay in Barcelona. So they're going to have to do a lot of convincing of these players. And of course, there are all the players who are currently on loan. They need to be offloaded. So Barcelona have a lot of hectic days ahead of them. So there's going to be a lot of news coming out of the club. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the transfer news. And also, when you subscribe, you get access to the community tab, which is where I drop sometimes some news in between videos, like today, the meeting between Messi and Laporta. I put that in the community tab because obviously I can't be making a video every 5 minutes, because that's what it seems like with Barcelona. Every 5 minutes, there's new news. But more things about Barcelona. Like I said, they do have to offload players in order to create margin on the wage bill to sign Messi, and that margin is going to be around 35 million euros, which would cover, his salary and his taxes. So Barcelona definitely going to have to do some hard work. Now, one thing I do want to mention, and this has, it's not really news or anything. I really like the change of power dynamics with Joan Laporta as the president, because when Bartomeu was the president, if Messi wanted to meet, Bartomeu would go to his house. Bartomeu would go to the Messi offices. Bartomeu would go to whatever restaurant they wanted to meet in. So whenever Messi wanted to meet, Bartomeu was running around going wherever they wanted. But Joan Laporta here, it's the opposite. He said, all right, yes, we want Messi, but if you want to meet, you're going to come to me because I'm the president of Barcelona, and Barcelona is bigger than any player. And there we saw Jorge Messi going all the way to Laporta's house to meet with him. And I really like that. I mean, I know it's random thought, has nothing to do with the news, but I just thought it was a really cool thing to see, the change of dynamics, because that's how it should be. Yes, I love Messi. He's the biggest player in our history. He's a club legend. I would love to see him back. But at the end of the day, the club comes before a player. And if you want to meet with the club, you got to go to the club, not the other way around. The club does not come for you. You go to the club. Anyways, let's look at the comment section, which is blowing up. I see 84 people watching, but only 25 likes. Let's hit that like button. Let's make it 80 people watching and 80 likes. It helps a lot, this channel a lot. Believe it or not, it helps even more than subscriptions, because when you hit that like button, it tells the YouTube algorithm, hey, recommend this video, which in turn, brings more viewers, more subscribers. So do me a big favor, hit that like button, and then let's talk. Let's see the comment section, what you guys talking about. Because after this, we're going to talk about Vitor Roque, which I love. I'm a big fan of a player, but it seems that his signing could be at risk. And I'll tell you why, but let's see what you guys are saying. Whew. Let's see, where did we leave off? So Zizou says probably looking at 3-5-2 next season. Formation, I think Xabi likes the 4-4-2 and it works for him. So that's probably what we're going to see next season again. Let's see what else. Adam says Fabricio Diaz will play against Israel in a semi-final. There you go. Yeah, so Fabricio Diaz is still in the World Cup. I'm not really following it, to be honest, but he is in the World Cup. So that's why another reason why Barcelona haven't made any moves as far as his signing. He's obviously focused on the World Cup. He's not focused on what club he's going to be playing. Let's see. McBarca says green light already given. There's a few more details left. It's not 100%. There's a few more details. It's expected that tomorrow, Tuesday, will be the official green light. I mean, La Liga has been for the past few weeks has already given the blessing to Barcelona to work on the feasibility plan. So Barcelona have been moving as if the feasibility plan has been approved 100%, because La Liga does like the plan. They think it will work, but there was a few more things that they needed to, double check and triple check. And there's still a few more details to iron out, but it's expected that tomorrow the official approval will come through. And I know I haven't seen a Talk FCB video, but I'm guessing he's going off by Fabricio Romano. I've been watching his videos more, and I feel like that's mostly what he reports about. Whatever Fabricio Romano reports, Talk FCB reports about. And Fabricio Romano said that it was approved. But again, from La Liga itself, there's no official confirmation. I know a lot of you also like to follow Fabricio Romano, which obviously he's a great source of news, but he's not the only source of news. And not everything that he says is God's word. All right, let's see. Nima says, question, if Barca B doesn't win second leg against Madrid, there's no chance they promote to Segunda this season? I don't think so, because they have to win the final to get promoted. But they have a good lead, 4-2. They won at home. I think they can pull it off again in the second leg on Sunday and then off to the final. Let's see. Rafe says, Mo, I think we should stop buying a lot of players and bring some on loan with an option to buy. I mean, we're not trying to buy a lot of players because we don't have the money to buy a lot of players. As far as loans are hard because the club have to want to loan them, right? That's the problem with loans. In a lot of like we wanted to loan Amrabat with an option to buy, and Fiorentina said absolutely not. You either buy him or you don't. Vitor Roque, we tried that route too, try to get him on loan. Athletic Paranaense also said no. A lot of these clubs are not interested in loan because a lot of these clubs, they're looking to make money because the smaller clubs need that money, right? They need to live up. They need that money to stay open. So that's the problem with loans, with options to buy. Isaac says, hey, Mo, trust you are well. Anyway, I remember one of the streams, a follower asked if you have been Alper Demerol. Oh, okay. I haven't seen Alper, but I don't think he's on Barcelona's list. Okay, one more comment and then we'll get back to the news because Vitor Roque is big one. Let's see. What else? Nima says, how much did Benzema's exit affect La Liga given the green light for our plan? There's rumors that there was some effect because, Bartomeu is noticing that all these big stars are leaving. Ronaldo left, Messi left. You got now Benzema leaving, maybe Modric, even though they say Modric is staying. But, all these big stars who bring a lot of viewership, a lot of money, a lot of sponsorships to the Liga are leaving. So Bartomeu, supposedly that helped a little bit in saying, all right, maybe we should bring Messi back because La Liga's losing all its stars to the Premier League. And if Bartomeu or whoever becomes president next don't do something about it, La Liga will keep dropping in rankings. La Liga used to be number 1, and then they dropped to number 2. Now they're behind even the Bundesliga, which is, in my opinion, is the most boring. Well, maybe not the most boring because there is League On. That's the most boring. But Bundesliga is super. It's a one-horse race. You can always count on Bayern winning. You can always count on Dortmund choking. So, and even there have surpassed La Liga, which is crazy. But anyways, let's talk about Vitor Roque because his signing could be at risk. And why do I say that? As I reported before, Barcelona have given Deco the task to sign Vitor Roque. Deco still hasn't been officially hired by Barcelona as a football director. He has been working with the board of directors this whole time, kind of as in a pseudo position or unofficially, if you may, because again, he needs to get rid of his sporting agency before he can officially become the sporting director of Barcelona. Because it's a clear conflict of interest. As a sports agent, you're supposed to represent the best interest of the player. As a football director, you're supposed to represent the best interest of a club. You can't do both jobs because when you represent the best interest of one, it's going to come at the cost of the other, right? So he needs to get rid of his sporting agency. He's still in the process of doing that. Once he does it, then Deco will officially be named the football director of Barcelona. And his first official task as a football director is to wrap up the signing of Vitor Roque. That's Barcelona's instruction to him. They want Vitor Roque. They are counting on him as not only as the substitute of Lewandowski, but also as the future center forward of the club. Now, the problem is the 45 to 50 million euros that Atletico Paranaense are asking for. And even though Barcelona were hoping that Deco could reduce that amount, they're starting to notice that maybe Atletico Paranaense are not going to want to accept less and that Barcelona are not going to be able to afford this signing. So what's going to happen is that they have asked Deco to try to convince Vitor Roque and his entourage to stay in Brazil for one more year until the summer of 2024, and then Barcelona would sign him. Now, this is very, very difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult to achieve. I don't know if it's achievable, to be honest, because Vitor Roque, he's 18. He's doing great. He's decided he wants to make a move to Europe. So I don't know if he's going to be willing to wait for Barcelona for another season, especially since he does have very lucrative offers on the table from clubs like Chelsea, like PSG. Arsenal are interested. So he has offers from many, many clubs. He's dying to come to Europe. So I don't know if he'll be willing to wait for Barcelona for another season. But that's what Barcelona will be tasking Deco with, to try to convince the player and his entourage to wait for another season. Now, if there's anyone that could pull this off, it's definitely Deco. He has a lot of influence in the Brazilian market. He personally knows the president of Atlético Paranaense. He's very close with the agent of Vitor Roque. So if there's anyone that can pull it off, if there's a right man for the job, it's Deco. Now, whether he's going to be able to do it, that's another question. So we're going to have to see and wait what happens. I would hate to see Vitor Roque slip away from my hands. I don't want to see a repeat of Vinicius Jr., of Rodrigo, of all these young Brazilian stars that Real Madrid beat us to. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, let's go back to the comment section and then we'll talk about İlkay Gundogan, because we do have more news about this Barcelona prospect. Ross says, what's the dealio with Roque? That your question was right on time because I just talked about it. All right, Kino says, is Shadi Riyad going to get a chance in Xavi team? And he gave Julian Araujo a chance in the right back position too. So I just mentioned Julian Araujo at the beginning of this video. He will be playing in tomorrow's friendly. He will be playing the preseason to see if he can be the starting right back. As far as Shadi Riyad, I don't think so, because we have a lot of center backs. I think Barcelona made a mistake in signing Íñigo Martinez. I think they should have given a chance to Shadi Riyad. I understand why they did it. Íñigo Martinez is someone who's very experienced, who's a leader on defensive line. So I see why they would opt for him. But I personally would have given a chance to Shadi Riyad. But I don't see Barcelona giving him a chance now because, we have Araujo, Koundé, Christensen, Íñigo, Eric. We have 5 center backs. So I don't know if Barcelona's going to want to roll with the 6th one. Now, the news about Shadi Riyad is that depending on what happens with Barca Athletic, that will depend what happens with his future. If Barca Athletic fail to get promoted to the 2nd division, he'll most likely leave. But if Barca Athletic make it to the 2nd division, there's a chance that Shadi Riyad stays for another season to try out his luck on the first team. Okay. Fitzroy says, Jamaica in the house. What's up, Fitzroy? He says, Mo, this viability plan is really taking long to approve by La Liga. Yeah, which is normal. There's a lot of things to check. There's a lot of things. Because at the end of the day, this viability plan is a contract. It's Barcelona saying, I commit to doing A, B, C, D, E. In exchange, you give me more leeway to work with in the summer, right? So La Liga need to make sure that Barcelona will be able to keep their word in the contract. So it's normal that they're doing their double checking and triple checking. If you were to buy a car, you're not just going to sign the contract right away. You're going to want to read it. You're going to want to make sure what's in it. You want to negotiate the price, etc. And then you sign it because, this is a contract at the end of the day. Okay. Let's see. One more, and then we'll talk about Gundogan, and then we'll have a lot more time to keep the discussion going. Mahdi says, I hope that we don't sign Roque. Nothing special about him. Lots of special about him. He's definitely someone who's gonna be one of the top 5 at least in the world in the future. Lots of things special about Roque. And it's funny because it used to be Endrick. Endrick was the big hype, right? In Barcelona, we're interested in him, but Real Madrid beat him to the punch. They dropped like 60 mil on him. He still can't come to Europe for another 2 years until he turns 18. And now Endrick is not even starting for Palmeiras. Like, the guy has just completely disappeared off the map. Meanwhile, Vitor Roque has led his team to Brazil to the under-17 South American Championship as the top scorer of the whole tournament. He's killing it. He's scoring goals with Atlético Paranaense. He just won a trophy with Atlético Paranaense. I mean, this guy is a beast. To say that he's nothing special, I'm sorry, man. I think you're watching a different player. Let's see. Papa says, if Vitor Roque, I think you mentioned this about Messi too. If Vitor Roque signing doesn't work out, I think Barca should take Arda Güler. Okay, Two different positions. Arda Güler is a midfielder. I think you said that about can't remember what player too, but if you can't sign Vitor Roque, why would you go for Arda Güler? You know, if it's like saying, okay, I can't sign a goalkeeper, so I'm just gonna sign a right winger, right? It just doesn't make sense. If you can't sign Vitor Roque, you're gonna want to look for someone else who plays in the center forward position. Arda Güler plays in the midfield. It doesn't make sense to substitute those two. Whew, okay. All right, let's talk about Gundogan and then we'll get back to the comment section. So, Gundogan. Rumors in the English media are saying that he is not happy with the Manchester City offer. Now, we know that Gundogan's contract was set to expire at the end of the season. Manchester City tried to renew it. They had many rounds of talks. It didn't work out. Gundogan was not happy, so he decided, hey, I'm not going to renew with Manchester City. And this is when Barcelona swooped in and negotiated with Gundogan, and they have a pre-agreement in place. But then Pep Guardiola said, wait a minute, I really want this guy on my team. You can see why. I don't know if you've been watching him this season. He's been off the charts. But Pep Guardiola says, hold on, I want this guy on my team. He tells Manchester City, you guys need to do whatever you want, whatever you can to keep Gundogan in England. So Manchester City turn around. They start a new round of talks with Gundogan. And when it seemed like they could renew him and steal him away from Barcelona, well, maybe not steal him away because he is a Manchester City player. Now it's being rumored that Gundogan is still not happy with the Manchester City offer. It looks like Manchester City are only offering him a one-season contract. He wants a longer contract, and he's not happy with the offer, despite Pep Guardiola pretty much begging Manchester City to do everything in their power to renew Gundogan. Seems like whatever they're offering Gundogan, he's not happy with. Now, Barcelona have a pre-agreement in place. They're offering him a 3-year contract. There's a talk about maybe extending it a little bit more because Gundogan wants a longer contract and that he's willing to reduce his salary drastically as long as he has a longer contract. So we're going to have to wait and see. But right now, there is doubts in the mind of Gundogan as far as renewing his contract with Manchester City. Now, the English media are also saying that Gundogan could be having doubts about coming to Barcelona, depending on whether Barcelona sign Messi. Because in the 4-4-2 formation that Xavi likes to use, and that box midfield that he likes to use, Messi and Gundogan would serve the same exact purpose. And Gundogan is not going to want to come to Barcelona or any club for that matter to be the substitute of any player. So they are talking about him having doubts about Barcelona as well. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean he's not going to come to Barcelona? No. Does this mean he's going to renew with Manchester City? Also no. But we are going to have to wait until after the Champions League, which is when it's expected that Gundogan will be taking an official decision as far as his future. Hopefully he comes to Barcelona. I would love to see Gundogan in Barcelona, especially on a free as a free transfer. But we are going to have to wait until after the Champions League final, which I'm, of course, rooting for Manchester City because of Pep. Let me know who you guys are rooting for in the comment section. Anyways, that's all the news for today. We have a few more minutes to keep the discussion going, and then we will wrap it up. So let's see where we left off. Isaac says, I hope you agree with me now that we actually need another left back. Did you see Celta Vigo's first goal? Come on, Alonso was literally walking behind him. Again, it's all about prioritizing positions. Barcelona can only sign 2, maybe 3 players this summer, so they have to prioritize position. So, who you're going to prioritize? The pivot position where there's 0 players there, or the left back position where you already have 2? Do you want to sign a third guy or your first guy, right? So it's all about priorities. Left back right now is not a priority. Let's see. Mahdi says Shadriyad is still young. No problem. He is for the future. Right, but the problem is he going to want to wait, right? What else? Adam says Amrabat, Frimpong, Roque, Abde, Carrasco, and keep Ansu Fati only, and maybe the problem is how do you pay for all those players? I would love to have, Mbappe and Haaland on my team, but the reality is a whole different story, my friend. Rafe says Alessio Besio would be a great option, but he's been signed by Freiburg, so he wouldn't be a great option if he's already signed. Legacy says Visca Barça and Visca Catalunya. Yes, Visca both. Let's see. Mahdi says we have Lewandowski. We don't need another center attacker. Yes, we do, because you need 2 players per position. If someone gets injured, who plays in his place? Or even if he gets suspended, like Lewandowski got suspended for 3 matches, for touching his nose, right? You need someone to replace. You need 2 players per position. Just because you have one, it's not enough. Isaac says, I am never sad, disappointed because Madrid beat us in the sign of Vinicius, Rodrigo, Jesus Reiner, and Endrick. I have a really good feeling we will clinch the actual next big thing from South America. Hopefully. I am happy. Well, see, Vinicius, you can't deny how great of a player he is. The problem is that he's a clown on the field where it comes to, always starting shit with players, with teammates, even his own teammates, right, all the time. But you can't deny that he's a great player. But yeah, I don't mind that Barcelona did not, sign him. But I do regret Rodrigo not coming to Barcelona. I think Rodrigo is very underrated. I think he is better than Vinicius. He doesn't get as much chance, but I think I would have loved. And plus, Rodrigo is more of a Barcelona kind of player as far as his ball handling, his skills. I think he's more of a Barcelona player. So no, I don't mind that Real Madrid took Vinicius away, but definitely Rodrigo. I definitely would have loved to see him in Barcelona. Okay. Caleb says, is there any chance that Barca buys Pistriani? I know they're monitoring him, but there hasn't been talks about signing him yet, but they are tracking him. He's one of the players that Barcelona are interested. Barcelona have been doing this where they're trying to get back to like scouting the South American markets, because for a while under Bartomeu, Barcelona kind of started ignoring the South American market, and Barcelona are trying to get back into that. And one of them is Pistriani. So I know Pistriani is definitely is being tracked by the Barcelona scouts, but I don't know if there's plans to sign him this summer, but there is interest in him. Let's see. One more and then we'll wrap it up. Michael says, Kessie, Ferran, Fati, Eric, and Alonso are not worthy to be in the club. They are simply not Barca material. And then Kino says, Julian Alvarez, I think he will be hard to sign him. Pep not giving him to us. Well, there is no plans to sign Julian Alvarez. Plus, he just renewed, I think, till 2028 or 2029, which I think it's a mistake because he's never going to be the starter at Manchester City as long as Haaland is there. I think Julian Alvarez should have looked to leave. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in, for all your comments, for the likes, for everything, for all the support that you guys always give this channel. I will see you guys tomorrow in tomorrow's video. This is going to be a very hectic week because, again, the green light is supposed to come in any minute. And Barcelona are going to have to move quick. They're going to need to offload players immediately. You're going to need to get those offers out the door. So lots of work, plus the registration of the contracts, the renewals of the contracts, all of that. So stay tuned to the channel. Hit that subscribe button because there's going to be a lot of news this week. And now we'll be here, as always, reporting about it. So thank you for watching. Have a good night. And as always, Visca Barça.